Hey everybody, Heather Coleman, intuitive medium, spiritual guidance counselor, and aura clairvoyant, aura seer. Here with our 3-card read for the week of October 23rd through 29th, 2023, or whenever you're seeing this. So in other words, if you're seeing this today, Monday, then amazing. If you are not seeing this for another week, months, even years, doesn't matter. This is exactly the message that your angels, your power animals, and your deceased loved ones are bringing to you right now, because this is what you need to hear. So this week, interestingly, we are working with one of the first decks I ever got, like probably about maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and the first tarot deck that I ever acquired, the Angel Tarot deck by currently, like nowadays, Radleigh Valentine is considered the author. This is so I've had this for so long that the co-author was on this copy of this deck. But if you love this deck, it's still in print, but you would see it under Radleigh Valentine if you love this deck and you would like to acquire it. The cover photo actually is thought to be Archangel Jophiel with the star. Someone's going to have that question. So the star major arcana card has this image on it. So I'm going to show you the 3 cards that we have for this week, and I encourage you to tap into your intuition in any way or ways that speak to you. And notice whether this week you are drawn to, say, just one of the cards more than any of the others. Maybe you're drawn a bit to all of them. Maybe you're more strongly drawn to 1 or 2 of them. So just notice that. Here is card number 1. Here is card number 2. And here is card number 3. And something that the angels are asking me to talk a little bit about right now. This series of preparatory messages would apply to those of you that are seeing this, interestingly, right on time. So in other words, if you're seeing this within 3 to 5 days of October 23rd, 2023, or the very middle of 2025, so around summer-ish, either of those times, this set of messages will apply. Right now, at this moment, we're kind of like in the middle of some pretty significant celestial events that are happening very close together, which is causing things to feel pretty darn chaotic and crazy. So we just had on October 14th, 23, we had a solar eclipse that was very visible in some parts of the US and other countries. We are about to have a full moon this coming Saturday, the 28th, and a full hunter's moon in October, and a lunar eclipse. So we had a solar eclipse closely followed about 2 weeks later by this full moon and an eclipse. That's a lot of significant changes in the polarity. They don't stay, but the polarity of the Earth and several other planets is affected with all this. And just shifts and you name it, the air pressure that we don't feel necessarily. Well, some people feel them. Water, the tides. So when these sorts of things happen, we will often notice a real chaos and just nuttiness, miscommunication. Some of the things that we often see during Saturn and Mercury retrograde, a lot of misunderstandings, and we find ourselves getting maybe more frustrated than usual, maybe with ourselves or the people around us, because it's just hard to speak clearly or hard to understand each other clearly. So try to have patience with that right now. The other thing is, and I can personally relate to this, more challenges driving, more delays, which I've already seen, construction delays, more people just making mistakes, not necessarily accidents, although could be, but people accidentally pulling out of a stop sign before the other person was done, that kind of thing. It's just more of that. So just slow down. Big message this week, and whatever you're hearing this, right now is a really good time to be especially patient while driving. Even if you already are a patient driver, try to just leave early so you're not in a hurry. It's just a great idea right now. because that's just the energy that a lot of these celestial events are causing. It's just causing us to be maybe more stressed and on edge and more confused and and there's a lot of unexpected events happening at once. So have patience with yourself at this time. Start with yourself, because if you're having trouble giving patience to yourself, you're going to have trouble being patient with others. So put the focus on patience with yourself. Don't even put the pressure of patience with others on yourself. I hope that makes sense. That's the way Archangel Jophiel, who came through earlier, is asking me to deliver the message. Start with yourself when things are really nutty, because when things get really nutty and we're stretched thin and we're stressed, what happens, and we don't realize it, is we are looking on all the craziness around us going, oh my God, that's driving me nuts. That's driving me nuts. Yes, true. But turn your focus inward, set the intention to have compassion and understanding and patience with yourself, because the love and the intentions you've set for yourself are going to shine outward from you and affect some positive change around you. And that's how you're going to be able to change your outside circumstances, is by, ironically, turning your focus inward. So set that intention to have patience, love, and understanding with yourself, especially right now. So with all that in mind, I feel like someone may have this question. I'm wearing strawberry quartz today. I got this necklace at a really nice shop down in Brewster, New York, which is southeast New York, right near the Connecticut border. The name of the shop is called Synchronicity, and I really love that shop where I did get this. Now let's get on to card number 1. Once again, we're working with the Angel Tarot cards by author Radley Valentine. It's still in print if you feel like this deck might be for you. So card number 1 is the Four of Fire, and as we begin these messages, I've been noticing these 3 card readings do present from the more difficult messages on going to the easier, pleasant messages, the ones we want to hear the most. With our Four of Fire today, we've got a bit of a reversal meaning. So thinking about the upright meaning first, generally, when this card is upright, we're looking at a message of contentment, peace, and abundance, a happy, easy home life, maybe completing a project successfully. So that would be our upright meaning. Now, right now, at this moment, we're seeing a reversal, which could very well indicate that we might be struggling to find peace within. We may want contentment, but it's just not there. We're really trying to figure out what would help us feel more content. Maybe we're not sure. Abundance maybe isn't quite there. Whatever form of abundance you'd like. Maybe financial, but maybe not. Maybe money is okay right now, but maybe you're lonely. Maybe you really are wishing right now, perhaps card number 1 people, maybe right now you wish that you had more companionship and connection with friends or family. Maybe you're feeling isolated. So maybe there's a lack of abundance in terms of companionship and social life. Social life, not necessarily just going out to parties, although that's great, but maybe just social interactions. Maybe there is a lack of abundance happening right now. So if any of this applies to you, the angels right now are calling for you to be patient. So here's another repetition of that message of patience. Patient with yourself, because you're doing the manifestation work, and maybe you've been asking for a long time for financial abundance or social abundance, more interaction with the people you care about, whatever. Have patience with yourself in your manifestation process. The card jumped. So that means that even though I had selected this, it's still considered a jumper. And so a lot of times when jumpers come out, with the way I work, it's like this message is coming out very strongly. So when we look at the upright meaning, so upright meaning, the successful completion of a project. Celebrate that even if you have projects that aren't completed or there are delays. Don't forget to celebrate the successes, because What you put your attention and focus on is what you will get more of, not just today, not just tomorrow, but next week, next year, next decade. So literally, when you set your sails to focus on what's currently working and what you want in your current experience, you are setting yourself up for more of those positive outcomes 10 years from now. So do that. Set your sails, align your intention and your attention on what is working and what you want more of. So I love that message. And that's a nice positive way to wrap up that message with card number 1. And it's amazing. It's like right now, I just feel so fuzzy. There's like a bubbling up in my upper respiratory tract, which is interesting. Kind of feels like a little gastric reflux. If any of you listening right now are 3rd trimester pregnant, honey is your best friend, and herbal tea. So if any of you are having upper GI and food getting caught in that upper part, if your food caught in your respiratory system, okay. So you've got to remember to breathe when you eat, which I am known to forget to do personally. So remember to breathe when you eat, and that food will go down a lot easier. Interesting message. Very interesting message that the guides just inserted right there in between cards number 1 and 2. Hey, they have their reasons that they do things. All right, moving on to card number 2. Personally, I love seeing this card, our King of Earth, and my attention was immediately drawn to our blue butterfly. Blue for Archangel Michael. You are protected as you make career decisions, card number 2, people. So take the pressure off yourself. A lot of times when I see this card come up for either myself or someone else, whether that's someone in my professional sphere or my personal life, any of these places, often this card is coming up to give us a heads up that either right now, like literally today, or in the near future, like next 3 months, we are going to see lots of opportunities coming up, which is great because this tends to come up when we've been asking for more opportunities with our career, or maybe unpaid work, maybe serious hobbies, or could be both, paid and unpaid work. And as great as that is, as wonderful as that is, it can be a little overwhelming, or we may be asking ourselves, am I going to get spread too thin if I take all of these opportunities? Now, this week, whenever you're seeing this, the message is take all of them. It's not going to be too much. Prioritize, delegate. Delegate is huge. Take the time to make lists, to organize your to-do list, your calendar. Make that time, and you can juggle all of it at this point. We don't have any 2 of Pentacles here. If we did, and we don't, but if we had the 2 of Pentacles, that card sometimes, not always, but sometimes is saying, why don't you just drop a few balls? You're juggling too many. Not this card, not when it's upright. This card is telling us, look, you've got the Midas touch. You know, you might see this backward, but when we get the message that we've got the Midas touch, it's saying anything you decide to pursue right now is going to work. You're going to be successful, so do it. Put that intention in and just get organized. If you're worried that you've got too many balls in the air, you don't. You just need to take the time to get organized. Now, whether that's meditation to get your mind calm, any or all of these things. Again, doing your calendars, making your lists, just making time to do things that relax you. Sometimes the best thing you can do to get organized is to stop being productive and just take time to be, because that will let your mind rinse your brain. So I love that card. I love that message. Now, moving on to card number 3. You know what's really cool? We've got the Tower, which not always, but sometimes is like one of those cards we don't love seeing, because sometimes, not always, it indicates the sudden and maybe unexpected collapse of an existing structure. But Number one, we've got a much calmer energy with this deck because if you just look at it, you don't have a burning tower. You don't have people falling to their death like it's the darn Titanic. You don't have that in this image. You, in fact, have a beautiful angel in the foreground, indicating that we're very protected. And I'm going to describe the kind of scenario that this is talking about right now whenever you're seeing this. What I've experienced in the recent past is a sudden collapse of an existing structure of my life, which was the unexpected loss of my car. Another driver accidentally struck my vehicle from the left-hand side. It could have killed me. It didn't. I didn't have a scratch on me. But my car was older. The damage that happened to the car was considered more money that would cost to repair the car than to replace it because it was like 11 years old. Car was considered totaled. So the tower can indicate a situation like that one. It's sort of like a sudden collapse. And when I say structure, no, it's not a building, but a car for most people is a real foundation, a necessity. So that's what's meant by a structure. So this happened out of nowhere, unexpectedly. And it does mean I'm going to be getting a new car. However, in this particular scenario, it's happening for me. Now, yes, the car was running well. It was, but it was old. It had over 150,000 miles on it. And yes, it was running well, but I was really tired of driving an SUV, more gas, that kind of thing, more space than we really needed. So it is an opportunity for me to get a new car, and one that's more in line with the current needs of my family. So yes, it was a sudden, unexpected collapse, sort of a shock, but nobody was hurt. And in the end, it's working for me. It is serving me. It's kind of, sometimes the tower, especially in this calm energy, will come up to metaphorically tell us, look, jump out that tower window because you're not going to get hurt. You're going to land on your feet. You're going to fly like an angel. And ultimately, this sudden collapse of an existing structure is in your best interest. And again, the angels had me bring up this example of what's happening currently with this process of me getting a new car, because I am going to be getting a car that's more in line with what I've always wanted in a vehicle. And it's a much better fit for the current needs of myself and my kids who are now teenagers. So card number 3, people, if you right now are experiencing sort of a sudden shock, collapse of something that you've been relying on, that you habitually use, whether it's already just happened or whether it happens and then you're like, oh, holy guacamole, let me listen to that video again. She was talking about this. Please just know that as much as it's a shock to your system and you might be like, oh my God, why me? It's happening for you. Sometimes we just don't fully see why it's best for things to happen this way until certain events unfold. I'm going to give you a little more on this because the angels are saying that I'm going to talk about this and you're going to hear something in this and go, yeah, I get that. I relate to that. So another piece to what's happening for me with this car situation is that the car that I just told you has been deemed totaled and irreparable. I did not know this, but the financing company that originally gave me a loan on my car, turns out the company didn't do something that should have been done 6 years ago. This sort of thing can happen. The company is based out of another state than the one I live in. So when I paid off the loan 6 years ago on my car, the company did not send the proper notification to our DMV in my state, according to our state laws. So the title on my car was never properly cleared of that loan. I didn't know this until this thing comes up and I'm trying to get my insurance payout so I can get a new car. But there are reasons that this is being delayed. There are reasons I can't find the god darn payoff letter, and I don't lose a lot of things at all. I'm a very organized person, actually. I can't find that gosh darn payoff letter to save my life. I can find a lot of other things in my files that I didn't even remember I saved, but I can't find that god darn thing. There's been delays with the company reissuing one, sending it out, you name it. But there are reasons for these delays bigger than what we can say. One of my go-to psychics said that it's happening so that I will buy the right car. In other words, the delay is happening so that I will get to the dealership at the right time and buy the right car for my family. So there you go. So keep that in mind, that if you're dealing with this sudden collapse and there's all these headaches and you're like, this is so stressful emotionally, maybe financially, keep in mind that there are bigger reasons for it. That's why this is coming as card number 3. What's happening, card number 3, people, whenever you are hearing this video, it is happening for you. Have faith. Have faith in what you cannot currently see. Put your faith into whatever your source of faith is. God, okay, yeah, if God is your source of faith, amazing. Your spirit guides, that's big for me. The angels, messengers of God. Finally, last message here. This is a big one this week. Big message. Archangel Haniel. Ladies, and maybe some men, if you're dealing with a lot of big hormone shifts, call on Archangel Haniel to help you regulate your hormones. Earlier today, do you want to know how I figured out that there was a full moon coming? Because I hadn't looked at the calendar yet. I'm not joking. I was driving in the car and I started feeling really ramped up, like I wanted to howl at the moon. I really did. I'm not making this up. And I'm like, I feel like a werewolf. I feel like I'm going to turn into a hairy creature. I'm not, but I felt this way. And I was like, I feel like a werewolf. And it's almost Halloween. I'm like, is there a full moon coming? Oh yeah, it's in like 5 days. So I'm sure. Can't make this stuff up if we try. So. Breathe through the insanity. If you feel like a werewolf, there's a reason for it. Be aware of your emotions. Me feeling like a werewolf right now, and look at my claws. Look, they look bloody for Halloween. That's why I'm not patching these up, because they look so fun for Halloween. That's Archangel Haniel that will help me. The reason I'm feeling like a werewolf is my hormones are going all over the place, and of course all the coffee I'm drinking is helping and not helping. So just be aware of it. Watch your mood swings. Watch your weird little stomach flips and all these great things that are going on, because it's all happening for you. Final message. Guys, everybody, anyone and everyone hearing this, please, please, please listen to Archangel Haniel here and Jophiel when they're saying to us that every single bloody thing, that is happening to you is happening for you. Even the real shit stuff, even the awful stuff, even the stuff you want to like claw someone's eyes out and you're like, Rah! It's happening for you. It's happening for you. And happy Halloween for those of you that celebrate Halloween. You know what? I've been seeing some memes. Teenagers trick-or-treating. Let them be kids a bit longer. Let's enjoy Halloween, guys. Be safe. Thank you so much for being here. YouTube, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Click that bell for notifications. Leave a comment if you're moved. Thank you, everybody. Much peace to you. Namaste.